Hey everybody, this is Doug with Artfully Rogue. So I just finished a project for a friend here in Spain, and it is of a cutout of an island that he used to live on called Formentera. So I found a shape of the island on the internet and printed it out. Then I drew a grid over that image. Now, because I'm working with centimeters here, each little square is 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Now, I know that art videos don't really do well here on YouTube, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you tips and tricks along the way as I build this project. Next, I drew another graph on a 1 meter by 1 meter sheet of Corten. Now, each square here is 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Once the graph was laid out, I could simply duplicate the shape in a specific square on the piece of paper to the corresponding square on the metal until I had the full shape of the island on the piece of metal. This other line is a rough layout of the metal standoff that will create space between the wall and the metal island. This is also where the LED lights will be located. Now, it's just a matter of using the plasma cutter to cut out the shape. Okay, so here is my travel agent speech. Just off the coast of Spain, nestled in the Balearic Islands, lies Formentera, a hidden paradise known for its crystal clear turquoise waters, white sandy beaches, and laid-back island charm. Now, unlike its lively neighbor Ibiza, Formentera offers a more peaceful escape, perfect for those looking to unwind and connect with nature. With its stunning landscapes and bohemian spirit, Formentera is the ultimate Mediterranean getaway. So here's another tip. After plasma cutting metal, you will usually have what's called dross. Now, this is molten metal that does not blow away during the cutting process and instead adheres to the bottom or the top of the metal piece you're cutting, and it solidifies back onto that sheet. The best way to remove this is with an angle grinder. However, what I found is that if you take a tool like a hammer or a piece of metal and tap along the edge at a slight angle, you can typically knock off the dross, which will make it easier when you hit it with a metal grinder to clean up the edge. So once I chipped away as much of the dross as possible, I'm using my angle grinder with an 80 grit flap wheel to clean up the edges and remove some of the rust. I'll leave a link in the description for the grinder and the flap wheel that I'm using. I'll do the same thing for the little small extension to the island as well. Once the edges are cleaned up, I'm going to mark where I want the metal standoff. I'm using the end of a pair of needle nose pliers that have a plastic handle grip. It's a good distance between the edge of the steel and where I want the standoff piece to go. As you can see, it's leaving a light mark on the metal. Once the line is roughed out, I'll come back with a piece of soapstone and draw the line so I can see it better. Soapstone is much better than chalk to mark metal. Like the island silhouette itself, I'm using a plasma cutter to cut thin strips off the Corten that will be used as the metal standoff on the back of the island. Now, just a matter of laying the metal strip on the back side of the island cutout and following the line I drew while I tack weld the strip in place. Once the metal standoff is in place, I'll take a wire brush accessory for my drill, and I'm going to remove all of the splatter from welding. Here in Spain, I'm using a flux core wire, which tends to splatter quite a bit. I'm sure at some point I'll move to a gas welder. Now, in a vertical position, once everything was cut out and the standoff was welded, I sprayed water on the metal island for several days to give it the current rusted look. Once I got it to a point that I liked it, I sprayed a clear coat that would help seal in the rust. I spray painted the back of the island white, and I'm going to take a black paint pen to paint the edges of the metal so they're a little less obvious against the rusted color. I welded a washer to a piece of square tubing that would sleeve into another piece of square tubing. This would allow me to hang the island on the wall. Basically, I can screw right through the washer, slide the small square tube into the larger square tube, and then lock it in place. Because of the way I did the metal standoff, I was able to use one single strip of LED lights. I used a remote-controlled LED strip with an adhesive back. I covered this LED with a black paint pen so that the light wouldn't be so pronounced in the gap between the island and the little extension. Alright, here's the finished piece hung on the wall. Now you can see the rusted look has a nice contrast against the white background of the stone wall. And now, with the LED lights turned on. Pretty cool, huh? Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. It is greatly appreciated. Now, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so now. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.